second, and all right, give it a couple seconds. Second, and
good to go, John?
We're good.
All right, so guys, welcome to section 2 of our business planning clinic. We're live, so you get the unedited version full of bloopers and all. So in the first section, you discovered where am I going, and how will I make it happen? So in section 2, we're going to talk about the models and the mindset to get you where you want to be. A model is basically a pattern of something to be made, an example for imitation, serving as or capable of serving as a pattern to be imitated. And so we're going to start with the models. All right, so when we bring up our models, you'll see that there are 2 main models here. And John, if you could go ahead and switch to the slide with the models, please. All right, so we have our stable model where we depend on our foundation, which are models that have been used, have been tested over time, they're stable, and that's where we're going to build our base. And then after that, then we're going to go with creativity. So what your natural abilities are after you have just sort of use those foundational models to create a stable platform for whatever it is that you want to try to do creatively with your creativity. If you look at the unstable model, it makes sense. Nobody wants to build a pyramid that way. It just doesn't hold up. It won't stand the test of time. It won't stand, period. So now your creativity, breakthrough ceilings of achievement. So your natural ability is what you're really good at. You're going to take that and focus on the models that we're going to share with you. And once you've got that to where you want to go, then you can go ahead and start to break through and improve those models. You can improve them based on your own natural abilities. Say you happen to be great at sort of, public speaking. And you can take those regular foundational models and go ahead and take that out into the public, where you can influence a lot of people, because that's your natural gift. And if that's not your gift, public speaking, maybe it's social media, right? Maybe it's just being super technology based, hitting every social media platform there is to get your point across, to get your audience, and that's your tribe. And once you continually break through those little ceilings of achievement and reach that pinnacle of what you do really well, that's how we build off a foundation. Okay. And sometimes we will stall out because of a mindset or a fear, limited thinking, or doubt, right? And so we're going to explore the myths and the truths on the following page. Your personal, in my experience with the myths or limited thinking, when I first started in this business, I guess I had been a stockbroker. I was on the phones pretty steadily. After that, I got into sales. Construction is my background, but I got into sales, automobiles, printing copy machines, things like that. So I didn't mind a face-to-face. And also I was pretty decent on the phone, but I was not very afraid of this idea of picking up a phone, especially when I was a stockbroker. I had a push button phone. So now these days, phone's soft. It's pretty easy to use comparatively. And so I was fearless. And so I jumped on the phone. That was my experience of being just fearless, just going to go ahead and call these people. It didn't matter what was going to happen. They could say no, they could hang up on me. It's been done before. But the question for you is, are you having these doubts or issues? And if so, how do we deal with that? So when we look at the next slide, a person's way of thinking and a set of opinions, basically thinking, I don't need models. You use your models now. They're how you get things done. When results matter, you don't want models that limit you. You want proven models that will grow with you. So models limit my freedom. That's another one. They limit my freedom. If I do it, then I'll do it the way everybody else does, and it won't sound like me, or it won't be like me. And I'm here to tell you that I read the scripts that I was using on the phones, and I read them, and I took the leadership that I was given by John Dietz, and he said, listen, just read them exactly the way they are. Get them down, get them perfect. And so what I did was I memorized them word for word. Then I internalized it to where I could say it over and over again without getting it wrong. And then I personalized it. Then it started to sound like Mike Trelongo. Then those certain words that they would have used, I will replace with one word or two words or whatever it is in the script that sounds like me. And it became very much my own script instead of just one that was there. However, you've got to use the model. You've got to use that foundation to build from, because words matter. And when you change up the very specific words in these scripts or in these models, if you change, and I'm talking about scripts because that is like near and dear to my heart, but across the board models, whether they're organizational, they're going to be lead gen models, whatever type of model it is, you've got to stick with the main foundation. Otherwise, it's yours and you're reinventing the wheel. And what we found over years of doing this, and Gary Keller, he probably knows what he's doing, is that we stand on the shoulders of these people who came before us, so we don't have to start from the ground up. Right? So models, other people think models are just opinions based on the success of others that implemented them properly and deliver predictable outcomes that are proven, not an opinion. It's not an opinion. It's a very solid, proven method that has worked over time. The model won't work for me. A model will work for you if you follow it because it has predictable results. I don't need to change. I'm getting the results I want. As you grow, you'll want better and better models. If it matters, good enough is not good enough. So I'm getting the results I want doesn't necessarily solve the issue, because the results that you want you may be getting them, but you may be working twice as hard to get those same results, right? So this is about making it easier for you, right? Now that you know some of the myths that you want to overcome, you can avoid them, and you'll know that how you do think about your business matters. Just as important as removing the limited beliefs and doubt from the mind in order to be highly successful, it's important to think like successful people. All right, so I'm going to go over a list. There are 3 foundational mindsets that all top agents have. Think, powered by a big why. Think, big goals and big models. And think, value and customer service and experience. And that one's new. That's going to be in the next MREA, I believe, because it's coming from studies, the latest studies of highly successful agents, that customer service is really paramount to having a really big business. The remaining 6 mindsets are supportive to the first 3, and they are all important. Today, we'll dig into numbers 1, 2, and 5, since they all reflect the mindset and what we'll cover in this course. Later, when we explore the economic model, we will really get focused on number 9, think profit. All right, so think powered by a big why. This comes down to simply, what's the reason that you're doing this, right? What is the purpose of this? What is this going to fund? right? It's going to be money coming from this, and money is good for the good that the money can do. But what's the purpose? Is it because I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of agents, and I've gotten hundreds of different results from what I had a really bad childhood, and I want my kids to have a great childhood. Other people saying, hey, I want to build a church. I want to buy my mom a house. I want to buy a Tesla. And cool, go buy a Tesla, right? Just figure out what it is that you want and get that thing in front of you on a daily basis, because we can quickly lose focus on our big why. And then um, separately, what is, I guess the next part of it is sometimes that big why changes, right? Once you actually get that, and people get it, they get what they were looking for, the whole big why. They bought mom a house. What's next? Right? So it does evolve and change once you hit your goals. And then it becomes think big goals and big models, right? So if we hit our goal, we got to get a bigger goal. Maybe your first goal wasn't big enough. And people think, oh, well, that's too big. It's too pie in the sky. It's too much that we, really need to focus on right now. And big goals are important. And we'll get into that a little bit more as well. And also big models, because that is ultimately going to be one of the things that is going to give you a big business that you can, build your life on, right? So the first millionaire mindset of the big why, about having or identifying a purpose, a mission, or a need that motivates you to get up every day and do what you do. My big why, I was adopted at a very young age. A household of 6 kids after adoption, and it was a fantastic family. But I never did get over the part where my dad, my birth father, anyways. I don't call him dad; he was a guy, and he didn't ever have any need to see me after I was born, from an infant. Went off and built another family for himself somewhere else, which is really interesting. And I never quite shook that, um, feeling that, you know, that was odd. And so I wanted to make sure that I always provided for my kids, and I was always there for them, and I was involved in every aspect of their life, and that I could help them to get into whatever college they wanted to, and that I would support them in everything that they did. So part of it is, yeah, you have to have, when they do good things and they've earned it, you have to have some wherewithal to give them those things. And that was important to me. So now that's kind of changed, right? Because one of them's been to college, the other one is heading to college. They've actually, been able to live their best life based on the effort that they put in. So that kind of happened. Now my next big why is retirement. I'm looking at, in the next 10 years, I want to be retired and have multiple investment properties that are paying and funding a tremendous life where I'm going to be traveling the world. So that's the next variation of my big why. People have many whys, and that is reasons that drive them. And a lot of little whys add up to a big why. You got to think big. Good and good enough is not enough. Doing your best and being your best is what makes up your big why. And you should think about what motivates you most. You should write down your big why. Again, put it every day. You got to go in front of the mirror in your bathroom every day to get ready for work, going out wherever you're going, and you're going to be there. You should be there anyway, brushing your teeth, right? So that is where you'll put your big why. Literally, either it's a picture of your big why or it's the actual words about your big why, and have it and write it down and spend some time on talking about not just the thing, but what's important about it. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and there's your big why, there's your big life. Um, is your purpose, mission, and need? That's what your big why is. It fuels your focus and your energy. It powers your action. So take some time. I mean, this is the thing that is going to motivate you to every day pursue your dream. So it's worth 2 minutes of your time. So take a couple of minutes and really write down, and then ask yourself, go through why it's really important. And then when you get that answer, then ask yourself what's important about that. And when you get that answer, ask yourself what's important about that, and write it all down and go 3 deep to really get to the source. Because it took me a little while to get to the source of why it was such an important thing to be a good dad to my kids, right? And the second millionaire mindset: think big goals and big models. Most great achievements in life are a result of thinking big and aiming high. Small goals lend to place limits on our potential. We tend to slow down once our goals are within reach. So think about the big goals again. If I am aiming at the moon, right? And that's a big goal. If I'm aiming to get to the moon and I don't quite get there, I still wind up in the stars. So you've got to aim high. And even if you just miss, you're still going to wind up in a terrific place, right? So small goals by definition are almost always within our reach. So we end up achieving them quickly, but we never get the chance to build up a head of steam. When we pursue larger, ambitious goals, our big goals, we have the chance to build up so much momentum that it carries us right past those small goals. Think of big goals that stretch you like a rubber band right up to the breaking point. Okay. And so the example is climbing up Mount Everest, right? So let's think about that for a second. If we're climbing up Mount Everest, right? And that peak is 29,000, over 29,000 feet. And let's just say that you wind up in just the halfway mark. That's pretty amazing. If you got to base camp only, you'd be at 17,500 feet. You'd still be 3,000 feet higher than any mountain peak in the United States. You would have achieved your goal of climbing Mount Whitney. What often happens with goals, that most agents set goals too low, and they achieve goals that are too low. Don't set goals too low. Setting big goals and going after them will allow you to build a career worth having, and a business worth owning, and a life worth living, experiences worth giving, and a legacy worth leaving. Legacy is my favorite word. I have multiple companies with the word legacy in it. It's what you leave behind. It's what you leave to your kids, to your family, to your wife, for people to see. And it's not necessarily things only. And I don't want you to get that, that message wrong. When people stand over my coffin when I'm gone, I don't want them to say he had a really nice car. I want them to say that this guy was just a stand-up guy, really did well for himself, set good examples for his kids, but also did great community work for the community. The guy that would take his shirt off his back, that you can call at 4 o'clock in the morning, he would come and help you. It's all part of that. And so giving sometimes is not just about money, it's also giving of yourself, right? The power of goal setting is goal setting to the now. It's from The One Thing. You should read this book if you have not. It's a powerful book. Goal setting to the now allows you to be extremely clear of your priority for right now by working backward into it. Gary Keller says we can be anywhere we desire to be in 5 years. Where do you want to be? For example, desiring to net $1 million could be a someday goal that requires big goals for the 5-year mark, the 1-year mark, and even monthly, weekly, and daily goals. Let's see. What's a 1-year goal that would be good enough to fund your lifestyle, pay your bills, and get out of debt? Well, the number one answer on the board survey says $100,000. Every agent that comes into real estate, the first thing they say, as soon as you say, what goal do you want to achieve in the next 12 months, they say $100,000. 9 out of 10 will tell you that. Trust me on this. And will it pay your bills? So you gotta actually do the math and see what that is. And sometimes that could be setting their goal too low. You know, there's agents who live in really, really wealthy neighborhoods, and you know, brand new agent that has a big database, a big sphere of influence, and we call it. And they live in neighborhoods that have $1 million homes, and everybody in that neighborhood would sell their home with them if they just lead generated to those people. And you set $100,000 goal with me, and I'm going to laugh at you. Okay. So, because you have the potential to earn so much more. And then if I'm talking to somebody who lives in a rental, and they are just a killer at lead generation and a go-getter, I'll laugh at that person too. So what I want you to do is complete the chart on the following page, beginning with a big someday goal. And you'll put down your goal, and then we will go through how do we get that done, and breaking it down a little at a time. So let's see, we're going to talk about the 5th millionaire mindset, because it's essential to success with any endeavor. After setting goals, it's time to execute your plan with action with accountability. So this is extremely important. Since taking action requires maintaining focus on the goal, how good are you at maintaining your focus, especially over time? So sometimes we get right into it, and we're like a racehorse, just waiting to get out of the gates, and then, you know, kind of running and feeling like, okay, there's a big circle, and slow down, and before you know it, you're at a standstill. So prolonged focus on the same issues can feel like routine, and routine can lead to boredom. When boredom sets in, attention will drift, and when your attention drifts, the craving for novelty creeps in, and doing something new starts to appear more and more appealing. So listen to that. Doing something new starts to appear more appealing. However, that something new may not necessarily be as productive as what the model was. So we acknowledge the limits of your ability to focus is important, because it allows you to then choose carefully what you need to focus on, and then find ways to help you maintain that focus at a high level over time. One of the best ways to do that is to bring some accountability into your business life. So this is where accountability comes in. Accountability is an empowering process for continuous focus and refocus. Accountability picks up where the time blocking leaves off. And if you're not familiar with time blocking, we're going to go through that as well. And you get the best accountability through a relationship that follows a regular refocusing process. And that may just be somebody who is going to agree that you're going to keep them on task, and they'll keep you on task. Okay, so can you truly hold yourself accountable? Because I came into this business believing that I could. And honestly, the answer is no, you can't. And you think that your family, a goal you set, a punishment that you set for yourself, right? And that you're going to hold yourself to that punishment is going to do it. And it's not. And it's weird. We're strange this way. It's a process that works when done with someone else. It's hard over time to hold yourself accountable to tough goals. Accountability is about defending your activities to an objective observer. Keeping track of your numbers, your goal numbers, may be the target, but they mean nothing if you're not taking regular measurement of your progress toward them. At any point in the game, you've got to know the score and how far ahead or behind you may be Otherwise, you'll never be in a position to make meaningful adjustments. Accountability is about getting and using feedback. You have to take time on a regular planned basis to meet with whoever is holding you accountable, look at your business numbers, and refocus your efforts. The truth, the more often you go through this process, the better your ability to maintain your focus on the activities that yield the best results. Who holds you accountable today? And the answer to that is, in business, probably no one yet. Okay, we're going to change that. You need to change that if you really want to have a big business. Write down names of who you might ask to help you with your accountability. Okay, so action and accountability. Set goals, do the activities, measure the results, evaluate the process, and make adjustments. So that's where the 411 comes in. Okay, so the 411, it's the best accountability tool there is. Stood the test of time. We're years into the process, and this has not been changed. It's completely perfect for what we're trying to do. It stands for 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. The 411 is the productivity tool that drives your goal setting from the desired end results to the present. It is not a to-do list. It's a have to-do list. It's designed to help you set both long-range goals and short-range goals and bring those results to fruition. The 411 is not designed to be used as a self-managing list. The most successful agents use the 411 in a consulting relationship to keep them on track. Whether you're consulting with your team leader, productivity coach, a peer or partner, or a formal coaching relationship, the 411 can serve as a centerpiece of the accountability focus. So simply, when you bring your coach this sheet and it has your goals, but then on a weekly basis, you know what your goal is, but on a weekly basis, you've got blanks. Well, we know what the conversation is. Very simply, you can't reach your goal until you hit the weekly activities. So what you set in motion today with your 411 may not translate to results immediately. There are no quick solutions. It takes implementing a system, and result may start showing up in 6 months to a year sometimes. This tool, however, will help you stay focused on the goals and activities of your final business plan. There are options for accountability, and you can use more than one, as many top agents do. So 411, a peer partner, a script partner, a team leader, productivity coach, or a MAPS coach, right? And you can build the 411s around the models we learn in this course. And there's a copy of the 411 here for your use at the end of this course manual. Okay, so now several tools hold up your self-accountable to staying focused and on task. So now we've got 411, and brand new for this course, now we have the command apps and tools. Okay, so the 411 stands for 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 month and 1 year. And that's what we're going to use, right? So find this tool in the training applet on KW Connect or under resources in KWU under 411. It can be used to track your job goals, your business goals, your financial goals, your personal goals. Whatever it is that you want to track, this sheet will actually help you facilitate this, and it'll do it for you. Sorry, nothing does it for you except for yourself. It will keep you accountable as long as you have somebody that you're working with to keep you accountable to it. All right. And as we're moving on, we're going to go ahead and pull up the 411 action goal worksheet. So this is the year, annual job, annual business goals, annual personal financial goals, annual personal goals. So again, you can use this for anything. All right. I want to lose 20 pounds. So based on having a goal there, 20 pounds, what do I need to do per week to lose those 20 pounds? And just simply do the math. Divide 20 by 12, and now you've got your monthly personal goals. And then divide that by the amount of weeks, and by 52, and now you've got, what do you need to lose a week? Just think about that. When you say 20 pounds, that sounds like a serious endeavor. However, when you break it down to the month, and it's, just under, I don't know, I'm blanking on my math. It's just under 2 pounds a week, I believe. That, or 2 pounds a month. Yeah, under 2 pounds a month. That makes sense. Then you break it down to the weekly. All of a sudden, it's very manageable. Very manageable. So it goes the same thing with your financial goals, with your business goals, and your annual job goals. So again, annual business goals. If we're going to say, I'm going to go ahead and make 5,000 contacts, leads, right? So 5,000 contacts on an annual business goal sounds absolutely crazy when you do it divided by a year, right? So 5,000, divide that by 12, and now you need 416 per month, right? And so when we break that down, it's going to come down to 100 a week, which is 20 a day. 20 a day is not impossible. It's very doable. Many people, this is how they build their huge businesses. Just talking to 20 people about real estate every day. Again, this is a Mount Everest conversation, because based on that model, you can make over $240,000 a year. So let's say we only got, if that was our goal and we got halfway there, that's 120 grand. And that's 2,500 people in your database. That's a killer year. So it's doable. So now we're also going to be talking about the command aspect of this. At KW, we believe technology exists to simplify everyday life, making room for what truly matters: your family, yourself, your client relationships. The right technology gives you the freedom to be more human, more present, more everything, with more time and money to reinvest as you see fit. Command is driven by artificial intelligence that grows smarter as it's used and becomes your valuable silent business partner, helping you make decisions that effectively grow your business. And I hope that you're using Command already, because if you're not using Command yet, it means that you don't have any contacts in your database. And that is, yeah, it's kind of a sin. So get help with Command at answers.kw.com or within the applet. And separately, also, you can just refer to your director of technology in your market center. You can also find helpful videos on the training applet and by clicking on the question mark in Command. Depending on your market center size, you may have a market center tech trainer, or like I said, a director of agent services. Also, every region has a regional tech trainer. Both of these resources are available to help you. Begin with your MC, tech trainer, or director of agent services if you have one. And yes, if you're in a Coral Springs market, we all know that's Justin Hurdy. So now we're going to think action and accountability, right? We're going to leverage Command. It's more than just a CRM, right? You can enter your goals in there for your net income, your conversion rates, your percentages of businesses, of seller business versus buyer business. Expect the expected expenses and costs of sales, average commissions for sellers and buyers. And you know what the beauty part is? If you actually put all this information in there and you know your conversion rates, you actually can tell and predict how many people you need to speak to get how many listings that you'll need to actually net the amount of income that you want, right? So you gotta take control of this really powerful technology to take control of your life, right? And you can do all kinds of contact specific actions, tasks, contacts, and everything is on your command dashboards. You have your reminders there telling you what you need to do today because you put it in there. Now your job is to just go in there and do the things that you told yourself to do. So everything's in there: your database, your transactions, opportunity, offers, compliance, commissions, marketing, consumer experience, your day, and your referral business is all there. And again, you can get help with this at answers.kw.com. Transition now. So we know the power of models. Now let's dig into the models we'll be using in the course. The 3L Foundation model from the MREA, the 3Ls of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent are leads, listings, and leverage. And they are in that order. So to succeed in real estate, you must have client leads. You have to. And you get them from all different ways. A lot of times I will say the phone because that is my source of lead generation. However, people will do networking events. People will just talk to the people they know. They'll door knock their neighborhoods. They'll talk to friends and family. And whatever you do is okay as long as you're doing it. So focus on seller listings because they are a high leverage, maximum earning opportunity in our industry. That is, with the same amount of work, you can potentially double or triple your gross income. So time invested. And I know people who work with buyers primarily. And yes, their time is, wow, at a huge demand when they're working with buyers primarily. Because when do buyers want to buy? When do they want to shop? Nights and weekends. Nights and weekends, that's the answer, just simple. They typically aren't going out in the middle of the day. So they want to go out when you're supposed to be eating dinner with your family or going on a vacation or having a weekend at the beach. That's when they want to. I'm not saying that listings keep you from, they keep you from getting hung up on a weekend or, going out during the evening sometimes, because sometimes you just have to. But as a whole, what I've experienced is that I get to have weekends and I get to have dinner with my family because managed right, listings just gives you that kind of leverage. Okay. It's about time versus money. Leverage comes from people, systems, and tools. And the question is, who will do it? How will they do it? And what will they do it with? Together, the 3Ls from the pillars of any successful real estate sales business. The business plan you create when you incorporate all 3Ls. Well, let's go back to what a business plan is and the importance of having one for planning purposes, for checking on the health of your business, and for projecting the future of your business. Best advice for any small business is to create a business plan and follow it. Failure to create and follow a detailed plan is a predictor of a failed business, right? And think about those shows you see on TV. This guy walks into any bar rescue, right? Walks into any bar and he can tell them how to immediately streamline their business, cut costs, increase profits. It's a model. It's a business plan. You guys have all been in businesses that are successful or work for a business that are successful. They have a straight up business plan and model and they follow it. Real estate is a really low barrier to entry business. The time invested in capital requirement to get into real estate is very minimal. Even the fees and dues to the market center and local board are low when you consider what kind of income you make. And instantly you have all access to a multi-billion-dollar inventory of product to sell. So we carry no inventory. We have no product overhead. our product is other people's homes. That's where the word broker comes in. We're going to broker deals with other people's investments. It's a bananas way to do business with other people's money, right? And we're going to be serious, and we're going to be tremendous assets to our clients, but ultimately we have no overhead, and it didn't cost us much to get into this business, right? So now a detailed plan, business plan, and a commitment to follow it with accountability will help you get started as well as help you grow. So we're going to, in this process, create and complete a business plan and a will, an activity, then address. So let's see, what else will a business plan do for you? Well, I think a business plan, if we look at what else it will do for you, it's just a roadmap, right? If you're going on a trip, and you want to wind up somewhere very specific, well, now we have our phones, right? And they tell us where to go. Does anybody, I use Waze. So when I use that, wherever that thing tells me to go, I just go, because it's based on real-time live data that's happening on the roads that I'm traveling. I never veer off. When I used some of the old apps before, I would go, you know what? I'm not taking that way. I don't like it. I blah, 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 blah. And I just go my own way and still get there. But now I have real data. It's telling me that if you go any other way, it's going to be slower. So you know what? I'm going to follow it. Back in the day, use roadmaps. But think about it. If I gave you a roadmap to $1 million and I just handed it to you, you're going to go, okay, where's my keys? And just go, and you're going to follow the map to the letter. So what if I just told you that there was $1 million somewhere in your neighborhood? You would be like excited, but you still have no idea where you're going. So that's what a business plan does for you. It gives you a very specific plan on how to get there. All right, so we're going to go to the 5 fundamental models as we covered this, the 3 L's. Okay, so the 5 fundamental models are the next thing, and they're the building blocks of your business plan. They are not separate. They work together in order, and in the order that they're listed, beginning with the economic model. They are one interconnected system that makes up your business plan. Creating your business plan and perfecting each of the models is the first step to a sustainable and scalable business. There are no limits to where your business can go. Implementing a strong business plan with the first 4 of the 5 fundamental models will lead to building a scalable business, which can set you up for a successful expansion. The expansion model will not be covered in detail. So for further information on that, you can attend the expansion systems orientation. That course is in your intranet, and you can get that through KWU. And this course will strengthen your business plan with accountability tools, the 411, and in command. A proper business plan can be built on the MREA models. Uses all of these models except the expansion until you're ready. Don't make the mistake of picking and choosing the models. They work as one, so all together to get the right result. Until you have a solid business plan built on these models, you can't scale your business successfully. And that comes down to the roadmap. You don't know where you're going, or it's like baking a cake and leaving an ingredient out. You'll still wind up with a cake, but it'll probably suck. 5 fundamental models equal one system. The economic model, it's a formula that describes the relationship between a series of activities and the specific outcomes that they produce. It shows you where your money comes from, where it goes, and how much is left over for you. And that helps you to achieve the net income you desire. The lead generation model, it's a plan for where your money comes from your lead generation activities. It's a companion to the economic model, since leads are the fuel of the economic engine of your business. You'll need to generate X number of leads to get what your goal is. Okay. And then the budget model is a plan for where your money goes between the time you receive it and keep it for yourself. The focus is on minimizing your expenses and maximizing your profit. So that equals spend X amount of money in specific areas to support these efforts. The organizational model is a plan for hiring help and talent as your business grows to help you grow your business. So I need to hire X number of people to service it all. And think about that, because when I first got into the business, I thought, oh, wow, it's going to be a long time before I actually have to hire somebody. And it's not that long, depending on how much work you put in. Because once you're starting to track 24 sales, you should be really thinking about hiring that first person. And then separately, the expansion model, a plan to apply or your systematized business model in additional locations. So this is expansion, this is growth, and this is not going to be part of our business plan for right now. As we're moving forward, what's been covered so far? Okay. Models before creativity. Okay. That's leaning on the foundational models that have shown so many agents tremendous success by just focusing on those very foundational models. And then putting yourself into it, then getting creative and finding out what works and doesn't work. And the cool thing is you can get creative as you want, because as long as you're keeping that foundation running, creativity, you can fail and pick something else and fail and pick something else. So feel free, as long as you've got those foundational models moving, feel free to be as creative beyond that as you want, because you've always got a solid business to fall back on in your models. Okay. Breakthroughs. That's when you got creative and all of a sudden something had yielded tremendous results. And now we're going to take that and make it part of our model because it works. Okay. Ways that millionaires think. Big why, big goals, accountability. What's your big why? What's your big goals? Who's keeping you accountable? The three L's of business. Okay. Leads, listings, leverage. How are we doing with this? What does our business look like? How many buyers are we working with versus sellers? And how do we shift that to make sure that we're working with more sellers than buyers? How do we be intentional about that? Okay, we're going to go over the intro to the business plan, intro to the 5 fundamental models. We went through that in the MREA. The power of what you came up with as far as what you heard is additional learning tools. So if you said to me, wow, I didn't think that business plan had so many different facets in it and actually controlled my business in so many different ways and could be something that I could use as a platform to really grow a tremendous business, then you just all of a sudden it clicked for you. And now you're a believer. And when you believe in something, then you will find it easier to implement. Okay. So think about the ahas you got from this section. And don't just think about them. Write them down. Write them down and then figure out how you can apply them to your business. Okay, so there's going to be the next action steps, right? What actions will I take in regards to this section? Write them down, 3, 5, whatever, how many different ahas you got from that you need to start implementing right now. And that sounds good because now you got a to-do list. However, the better part of that is actually making a completion date that you will finish this by. Okay, there is no such thing as a forever goal. Goals have a time limit, so make sure that you make a time limit for your goal to achieve. You can't be accountable to something that's always out there, just forever going on. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so the next module that we have here is going to be section 3, and then we're going to be going over the economic model. So that's all I've got for now. I don't know if I provided you guys with any specific bloopers that you can use or that were funny, but I hope that this was actually helpful for you and that you found some real good value out of this. And I look forward to seeing you guys in section 3. John's going to be going over the economic model, and I hope you guys took away some good information.